Hey guys, it's Des. I'm back with another video. This game is I'm going to react to the Fulham game this time. So I'm reacting to the Fulham 2-1 game, just some points from the games that I noticed during the game. So obviously this game showed a lot. We showed a lot in this game. For me, I was pleased with the performance. I feel like after watching that performance, I feel like we can actually have a great season. All we have to do is just try to maintain consistency, because this game showed everything. It showed our positives, our negative, and it showed it showed our character as well. The first thing I'll talk about with that, let me just get into the part about our character. So the moment we conceded in that game, once we conceded the first goal, the intensity that we showed throughout from then until the 90th minute was great. We played with such high intensity, continuously trying to create chances over and over and over again. We just continued to push forward. We had the wingers. Arteta did really well with the way he changed it to a back three and had Saka, Martinelli playing almost like wingers, stretching the pitch really well, going in behind, just consistently creating even more chances over and over again. And we looked like it looked like we were going to get a second goal even after scoring the first goal. So we looked really dangerous, and we looked really determined to score as well. So I love the character that we showed in that game. Another point that I also mentioned as well was Odegaard. After I watched his pre-season, for me, it looked a bit like Ozil's 15-16 pre-season, where it looked like he was starting to take a lot of responsibility, knowing that he was the main man in the final third, controlling the game. And when I say controlling, I mean there's players who control the game in the middle part of the pitch, and there's players who control the game in the final third. Odegaard is looking like someone who's able to control the game in the final third, which is the hardest part to control, because you've got so much pressure all around you. But he was able to control that. He receives the ball, continuously receives under pressure, finds players on the side, looks for passes behind, looks for players that are free in the wide areas, make sure that whenever he sees Martinelli on the opposite side is free, he gets the ball straight to him, gets the ball straight to Saka whenever he's free on that side as well. Just able to continuously make good passes on the final third. Is a bit of a there's a comparison when you think about it. If you look at someone like Bruno Fernandes, for example, he's someone who is really direct when he's in the final third. So it's all or nothing with Bruno Fernandes in terms of like high risk, high volume to try and get the assist no matter what, regardless of maintaining possession. But with Odegaard, what we're getting from him is the ability to make smart decisions in the final third, quick decisions, and to help us maintain possession so we can continue to keep on recycling and creating chances. So that is what we're starting to see from Odegaard, which I'm liking from him. So he's starting to get back into the game, especially because he had a slow start to the season. Another thing I was going to mention again, as always, in every video, continue to always praise Gabriel Jesus. What a great signing from him. Again, just fantastic link play. The way he drops deep, the way he receives in the wide areas, the way he continuously attacks the channel, runs in behind, the way he receives the ball in the air, brings it down so effortlessly, even with pressure behind him. He's just been top quality from him, top quality. Nketiah is another one I'll mention, and I'll mix Nketiah with Gabriel Jesus together. I'm just so happy that the manager is trusting him as well, because he's shown such growth, and it says a lot about Nketiah that the Arteta is trusting him. That when we conceded immediately, he thought to bring him on. That shows that Arteta has a lot of faith in him, and we have seen him improve so much, especially physically. Because we obviously, when he first came in, when he first got promoted, he seemed just like a poacher. But then afterwards, he started to add technique to it, and then during this preseason, he added a bit more physicality to it as well. You see him able to pick up the ball from deep, run past players, dribble, run into the channels, attack space. It's just a massive change. The fact that we have Gabriel Jesus and Nketiah able to play in the two, which was something that we couldn't do with Aubameyang and Lacazette before, because if we played them in the two, we lost a lot in terms of being able to press, in terms of mobility. We lost so much having them centrally. But the fact that Aubameyang can trust to have those two guys together, Nketiah and Jesus, shows a lot about their work rate, because Arteta won't have two players in the striker and in the sort of 10 like behind him sort of position who weren't able to work hard off the ball, press, defend from the front. He wouldn't have that. So the fact that he's able to trust those two together shows how much work they're doing off the ball, mixed with the fact that they're both technically really good, both have so much pace and so much mobility, running behind all the time, drop deep to link up play, and then they just really show a lot of strength. Like for guys who don't seem to be so big, they play with a lot of strength in terms of like, if a player is back to them, they can easily ride the challenge. All of them, both Nketiah and Jesus, they ride challenges so well, attack space, come back to drop deep, attack the channels, running behind all the time. They just offer so much. Once we have them on the pitch, they're just constantly everywhere, attacking every single space they see. So I just love the link play between those two, and the fact that Arteta trust them as well says a lot about Nketiah that he did. Another thing I mentioned from that game as well is once we were at 1-1, Ramsdale, I want to praise Ramsdale and Ben White. Ramsdale made a big save at 1-1, and Ben White made a big block as well. just to save the game, because if that went in, that could have been the end of the game right there. But those two came up big right there, so I have to praise both of them for that save. Ben White, another one. I have to give special praise to Ben White as well. I changed my mind a lot about him after that Zaha game, the game against Crystal Palace actually, when he faced Zaha 1v1. When I was watching the game live, it seemed to me like maybe Zaha was getting the better of him, but it seemed like, in my opinion, it seemed like maybe because I was watching it more emotional as I was watching it, because the game was still going. But after I watched the game back, he dealt with Zaha really well, dealt with him in the 50-50. Maybe Zaha got past him one or two times and he got that yellow card, but overall, he dealt with Zaha really well. Got him all the time, constantly got the ball, nicked it in front of him, got to his feet, clipped him whenever Zaha tried to spin run, won the balls in the air, and then progressed the ball as well. So Ben White, for me, is having an outstanding season. He's getting better and better. I'm loving him at right back as well. He's looking really good. Seems like he's a bit comfortable, because I thought Tomiyasu will come straight back in at right back. But when I'm looking at what Ben White is doing, it looks like he can actually fight for that position and actually keep that position. He's looking really good, and I'm liking the combination of all three, of Ben White, Saliba, and Gabriel, in that sort of like back three, where if need be, they can easily just switch to a back three, and we can go straight to a back three and play 3-4-3 immediately, just because Ben White can tuck in straight away and Gabriel can tuck in straight in the left centre back sort of side, because he's left footed as well. So I'm loving that back three right there. Now the options that we've got there. Another thing I was going to mention, or one of the last few things I'm going to mention as well, is the Saka and Martinelli. I say this all the time. Always, we need another option for them. The responsibility that these two have on their shoulders is just so much. They do so much on the pitch. The fact that they go from wingers who are constantly stretching the pitch, having to receive and play 1v1 all the time for 90 minutes, they're constantly attacking defenders, running in behind, stretching the pitch, making runs behind, dropping deep when they have to do, then spin the defender and trying to get behind, and then defending from the front. And then this was just in a 4-3-3, but when we switch to the 3-4-3 again, they switch flanks, Martinelli going to the right side, Saka going to the left side, and they started playing like wing backs as well, often with playing so wide, stretching the pitch, basically just creating space in the central areas, because the more they stretch the pitch, the more spaces opens up in the middle, which Nketiah, Gabriel Jesus, Odegaard, and Xhaka were using to exploit spaces. We even saw Gabriel coming from left centre back, coming deep to play a pass into Martinelli from deep. That just shows how much they're stretching the pitch, which allows the centre backs to even push forward and use the space that they create in the middle. Because once you're able to stretch the pitch so wide, then there's so much space in the middle that can be used, and this is all because of Saka and Martinelli. The reason why I say that we need another, obviously I know that we're looking for why we need it, another option for them, is because we have no options in the squad that can play their role. I know people say maybe Smith Rowe can play the role, or Fabio Vieira can play the role on the right and Smith Rowe on the left, but they can't do that sort of role. And for me, I feel like that's our primary our primary system. Our primary system is the fact that we have these two wingers that stretch the pitch constantly and create space in the middle. And of course, you want to have alternative options, but you still want to maintain your primary system. And that's Saka and Martinelli out wide. And we don't have another option that can play that role. We need at least one more player that can just rotate with them, just to ensure that we can continue to keep our plan A going. Then, of course, if we need to bring in Smith Rowe or Fabio Vieira, just like a different option out wide, then we can do that. But in terms of maintaining our plan A, we need a third option, just to make sure that these guys aren't just playing 38 games all season and getting tired. You know, they need rotation. Sometimes we need to be able to swap them, because they do so much on the pitch. So that's one thing that I feel like we need to sort. I've mentioned this so many times, anyways. The other thing is, in terms of like the negatives that happened during the game, I feel like we didn't create enough chances at the start again. Before Fulham scored, I feel like we didn't create enough chances. I feel like there's still room for improvement in the creative aspect of the team. There's still a lot of room for improvement in midfield. We still need a midfielder. We still need another winger that's going to help creatively. So there's still a lot of room for improvement in the team. Hopefully we can sort something out of the transfer window and bring two players, if not one. The wide area for me is the most important position right now for us to bring in, because obviously the likes of Smith Rowe, Fabio Vieira can still add a bit more creativity into the midfield. So, but in terms of the wide areas, we don't actually have a third option. So I feel like we still need to add more creativity to the team, just so that at times when it seems that maybe Saka and Martinelli are not having the best game, or they need rotation, or they need something we can bring something in, we can have like a third option that can quickly come in. Can you imagine if a team has to deal with Saka and Martinelli constantly stretching the pitch for maybe say 60 minutes, and then you bring in another winger again who's also fast, can stretch the pitch, can go 1v1, who's fresh and comes on the pitch? That's a nightmare for a fullback. So I feel that's something that we need to try and sort out in the transfer window. We've only got like a few days left. The other thing was Gabriel, obviously a negative, but I'm so happy that he was able to atone for that and scored a goal. I love this guy. I know that he gets a lot of hate on Twitter and stuff like that, but I feel like he plays with his heart on his sleeves. He plays with so much passion, with so much emotion, and sometimes it gets the better of him in terms of the aggressiveness, in terms of like his aggressiveness. He's overly aggressive. I will do another like a separate video where I talk about the centre back, our three centre backs, some of their positives and the negatives, and just go into a bit more detail about them because I feel we've got three great centre backs, three young centre backs who are really good as well, and I feel like we don't need to be picking and choosing and stuff like that. They're all good. But yeah, I'll go into that into the next video. But other than that, thank you. See you guys later.